So we're going to tackle some cinnamon rolls. This is my favorite recipe, and I've edited it just a little bit. So the things you'll need are on the counter, and I'll put a picture in there, but flour, sugar, brown sugar, raisins, pecans, yeast, eggs, butter, milk, whatever kind of milk you want, and cinnamon. That's all I use. Oh, and syrup, or Karo syrup of your choice, maple syrup or Karo syrup. This recipe works best if you have like a cast iron skillet that you can bake them in, because they come up just really yummy that way. But that's something we will work with as we go through. So right now we're just going to get it started, which means we warm up some milk, we warm up some water, we get the yeast started, the eggs whipped in, and then we'll come back and we'll work on incorporating the butter, the salt, and the flour. Okay, so see you in a minute. So one good trick to remember with yeast is the temperature of the water. And I was taught this trick a long time ago by a gal who literally made bread for her dog. But put your water in a bowl and then take your baby finger and just go like that. If you can feel it, it's too hot. So you wait until you really can hardly feel it at all, and that's the perfect temperature. Then you sprinkle your yeast on top. If you have too small of a bowl and all the yeast wants to sit on top, take something and gently stir it in. But usually then the yeast is going to stick to whatever you use to stir it in, so you just have to leave it there till it all does its thing and it grows nice and bubbly. There's your tip for growing the yeast. Then you're heating up 1 cup of whatever kind of milk you want. I found that if you use the richer, like some kind of a blend, we a lot of times will put heavy whipping cream in with almond milk, but you know, depends on how much dairy you can handle. But I'm heating up 1 cup of milk because I've halved this recipe. This recipe that I'm using normally makes a loaf of bread and 2 cast iron pans full of cinnamon rolls, but all we're doing is cinnamon rolls today, so it's a half a recipe. Alright, so the milk is heating on the stove, and when it comes to a bubble, you just turn it off. You're going to put in the sugar, white sugar, or whatever kind of sugar you want to use, and salt and butter. For now, this water for the yeast was just perfect, and sprinkle all this yeast across the top. Okay, and if you want, you can stir that down. Like I said, you can kind of push it down, stir it in a little bit so it gets water on the top. And as you can see, the yeast is going to stick to your little container, so you just have to leave your little container in there to bubble along with everything else. While you're waiting for the milk to get warm, we've got a couple beaten eggs. We're going to take the milk mixture when it cools off a little bit, and the yeast mixture, and mix it all together with the eggs, and add about a cup of flour and let it sit till it bubbles up. So for a little bit, we're good. I'll be back in a second. So this is the milk that we warmed on the stove, and it has half a stick of butter, half a cup of sugar, and a half a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to let that cool a little bit. Our yeast is looking good. See, it's kind of bubbly. It's looking nice and foamy. So that's looking good. And the 2 eggs are nicely beat up waiting. Okay, the milk is cooled off. I blended it in with the eggs, whipped it in with a whisk, and now we're going to add the yeast. Just want to make sure you don't ever add the yeast to that mixture if the milk is still too hot, because you'll kill your yeast. So all your yeast in there. See, it should be nice and foamy like that, nice and bubbly. You can kind of see what it looks like in the bowl. All those lovely bubbles. And I just gently mix it together a little bit. And you're going to add a little bit of flour, about a cup of flour. Whip it in there nice and gentle. You can put a little bit more in, like maybe a cup and a half or so. Up to 2 cups. You can get it in as long as it looks like it's blending pretty good. Okay, so it looks like this. See, it's not real thick, because it shouldn't be. It doesn't have that much flour in it yet. So I'm just going to set this here. Drop that there. Hopefully it'll stay. And I need a clean towel. Take a clean towel or a tea cloth or something and cover this. Leave it in a nice warm place. Not too warm, but I'm in Hawaii while I'm taping this, so it's like 80 degrees and warm is perfect. So we're going to cover this and leave it for about 10 minutes or so. And then we'll come back and make sure it looks kind of bubbly and it's started and it's still looking good. So we'll see you in a bit.